Hi, welcome to part 4 of this session, 27001 version 2022 lead implementer course. I hope we are getting at least some benefit out of this course, and I'm seeing lot of many of you are viewing the videos and all that. With your views, I am able to see that many of you are going again with the videos. That's great. So keep learning, but again, humble request, please like, subscribe, and I'm missing your comments. So if you are having any difficulty while doing your exercise, just write down your difficulties also in your comment box. Maybe there are not many who are learning with you, so they can also give their suggestion and all that. So don't shy out by typing down your comments, and please subscribe to the channel. Lot of efforts have been given by the team. They are also expecting some love from you, that you are subscribing to their efforts and all that. Thank you. So let's begin. Today we are on the clause number 9. So we would be completing clause 9, clause 10, and Annex A Controls. So under clause number 9, we have this 9.1, 9.2, and 9.3. So basically clause 9 is performance evaluation. So what all activity that has been done from clause number 1 to 8. Now we have already done everything. Everything has been done. Now the time has come to make an evaluation. It's like the same thing. Like for the whole year we have studied, and now the exam time has come. So we are ready for the exam. So here the exam would be taken by the auditor. So one is the pre-exam and second is the post-exam. So pre-exam would be taken by an internal audit team, and once the internal auditor teams gives a green go ahead, yes, everything is okay, then finally the external body will be invited. They would be coming and they would be evaluating your performance, and then they will be giving you the final report, that this is their audit report. What are the positive findings they are able to find out, and what are the deviations or what are the non-compliances that have been noted so far. Okay, so let's see clause number 9.1, monitoring, measurement, and analysis. So what the standard says, that now we are now clear that under clause number 9 we are going to do the evaluation part of ISMS, that how we have implemented ISMS and how my ISMS is functioning. So is it functioning as per expectation, or there are some deviation? So we would be doing the performance evaluation. And under performance evaluation 9.1, it says that monitoring, measurement, analysis, and evaluation, these are the 4 things. So it asks, the standard says that the organization shall determine. So these are the guidelines given by the standard itself, that how to do this evaluation. So the how part is written here, that the organization shall determine what need to be monitored and measured. So first of all, you should know what activity you are going to do and how you are going to do. So definitely this is the first question that comes in everyone's mind, that how you are going to evaluate your ISMS. So the what part, and then once you are clear with the what part, then of course the next question will come up, that how you are going to measure. So these are the 2 things that you have to tell in your documents, that these are the activities, these will be monitored, and this will be the team that is going to do the monitoring part or the measurement part, and this would be pre-approved by your leadership, means the top bosses. They have to pre-approve this. It is not that you have done everything and then at the last you will decide who is going to do what. So everything is decided in advance. You have to make some documents where you would be writing all those things, and then accordingly you will be doing. Next thing that is the method for monitoring. So I have highlighted the yellow part here. What need to be monitored, measured, method for monitoring, measurement, analysis and evaluation, and 1 minute. Where is my pen? Okay. So what need to be monitored, measured, methods for monitoring and measurement. I will analysis and evaluation. So these are the catchy words. So when the monitoring and measurement, when the monitoring and measurement will be performed, when, who shall monitor and measure, and when the results from monitoring measures shall be analyzed and evaluated, and who shall analyze and evaluate these results. So these are the keywords that are written into this standard itself, that how, what, when, method, who, all these W series questions need to be answered in advance. They need to be written up somewhere in the documents. That is known as your internal audit procedure. This is known as internal audit procedure. You would be writing this document. This document would be then approved by your management. They would be writing 1 minute. One of a user is asking for today's link. Can someone share the link in the Telegram group also for the today's? Although Telegram, this link for today's this session is available in the Telegram group information. So just go to group information. You will get this link for joining the session. Okay, so under this we have to make a document. The name of that document is internal audit procedure or internal audit policy. So policy is one part. Under that it will be mentioned that what you are going to do and how you are going to do, that would be written up in the process part, internal audit process. So documented information need to be finally collected. Documented information need to be collected as evidence of the results. So when you say we have done internal audit, so it means there should be some evidences of that. Some report should be there. Some audit plan should be there. That who was the auditor, who performed the audits, what were the audit objectives. All these things need to be mentioned somewhere with some evidence as a result of that activity. This is the final outcome of this activity. So let's move ahead. So for your benefit and for your understanding, I have made one such table where you can make a table like this, maybe into Excel sheet. The name of the function, what is the information security objectives. The objective is what need to be measured. So A part, what need to be measured and monitored and measured, that is information security objective. These are the objectives that you need to monitor or measure. And remember, this was mentioned in clause number 6.2 also. That what are the information security objectives. So it is not the new thing that you are going to do. Already you have already identified these information security objectives in clause number 6.2. Then again in clause number 8 also, you have defined processes against these, that how these objectives would be working, these how you would be measuring the performance and all that. In our previous part 3 session also, I have explained. Those who have missed the part 3 activity, today we would be uploading part 3 video on YouTube. It is highly recommended. May please see part 3 first before you jump to part 4, else you won't be able to fix the gaps and all that. So information security objectives are already defined in clause number 6.2. Then again they were again touched in clause number 8 also. 1 minute. So then the next is monitoring frequency. So monitoring frequency is the method of monitoring, measurement and evaluation. So this is the frequency is mentioned. Then target, that what is going to be the target, how much you want to achieve, 100%, 80%, 30%, that you have to give. And one more thing, if you are new to ISMS, don't give 100%. Keep the target on a lower side. That is always advisable. Maybe you are able to do 100%, but if you are new to this domain, try to keep it 60%, 70%, so that there is always a scope of improvement. Otherwise, if you write your target is to complete the work 100%, and if you're not able to complete, that will go negative. Rather, you take the target as 70% and then you complete it 80%. That is appreciable. But again, you have to make a balanced approach. If you say that the target was 70% and you have completed 100%, it means that you were misleading the figures. So both way you have to take the balanced approach. Then what resources would be required, who would be responsible, how the results will be evaluated, and what was the last updated date. So this is a table which is, this is very much similar to the table which I have shown you in part 3, where you have to you have to make that key performance indicators. So there also you can use the same table, or in fact just make a same table and use the same table only. Don't make no need to make multiple tables. Just use same table everywhere and add the relevant part there. Okay, so with this we are now able to find out that what would be the monitoring, measurement, analysis, and evaluation process. Okay, so assuming we are done with the homework and we are now okay, we know that how the analysis or the evaluation will be done. Then next part would be performing the internal audit itself. So when we are going to perform this internal audit, under clause 9.2, it says that the organization shall conduct internal audit at plan interval. It means you need to define the frequency of the internal audit, that what is going to be my frequency of internal audit. So at least once a year is must. You can't say in 5 years I will be doing one internal audit. So at least once a year is must, but always recommended to have biannual mode of this internal audits, because you would be having external audit once a year. So if you are doing it biannual, so there is a high possibility that you will detect the problems at your own level, so that you are okay and you are ready to face the external audit with more confidence. And if you don't complete the homework, you don't do the internal audit, or you don't find out the gaps yourself, then the external auditor will definitely give you all those non-compliances, and that would be difficult for you. So this is a requirement from the standard itself, that at a plant level, the organization has to conduct the internal audits. Okay, the next thing that is required to perform internal audit is the organization need to identify the requirements, and then the requirement of this document is implemented effectively and maintained properly. So these things also. So it means that you need to make another document, that is internal audit. First of all, you need to document that will be known as internal audit policy. What your organization policy is in regard to internal audit, that you have to make. So once you have made an internal audit policy, in that policy, no need to write very big and lengthy policy. Just keep it very simple and write that the top management would be conducting internal audit at biannual mode, or this mode or that mode, and who is going to be the auditor for that also you mentioned there. Okay, so then there would be a need for an internal audit training also. Let's assume you are performing this internal audit for the first time. So when you are performing this internal audit for the first time, so the first requirement would be you need to select multiple auditors from different departments. That would be like in our part 3, I have explained this information security working group or information security steering committee. So from there also you can take peoples who would be a part of internal audit program, and they first need to be trained for that, and that training will be reflecting into the competency, resource competency, clause number 7. In clause number 7 we have already seen the competency matrix and all that. So you need to make a list of internal auditors, and if you want to check what need to be the competency, what need to be skill for internal auditor, that would be mentioned into the internal auditor profile only. Many a time organization face the difficulty that they don't have internal competency to do the internal audits, or their employees are not that trained that they can perform this internal audit of their own. In that scenario, they can always take help of external consultants, they can take help of external agencies to come and perform the audit. That is basically that an internal audit, but that is performed by external agencies. Like we at InFocus IT, we are also providing these services, where we are providing expert guidance and expert advices to many of our clients, and we are performing internal audit on their behalf. And then it is the job of the external agency to help and get them clear their final certifications also. So we are acting, when we are acting like internal auditors, so we are being representing that company only, and we represent that company in such a way that whenever audit agency comes, we are on the auditee side, and we are helping that organization to complete that audit. We are helping their to meet up their compliances, and we are helping into their ITGRC other roles also. And the next aspect that we are doing is third party audits and all that. So sometime, what is third party audit? Sometime our client says that my that X client is there, and you need to check their security posture and all that. So on there we are doing audits for the X party also. So these are the some of the activities that we are also performing, and that are required into this ISO 27001, that is internal audits and all that. Internal audit training is one of the mandatory parts, because for the upcoming changes and all that, the internal auditors need to get all this information. Otherwise, they would always be missing that competency, and they won't be able to complete the internal audit properly. So this is a list that how you are going to make list of internal auditors. You have to select, and then sometime a question comes, sir, my company, yesterday also one of the participant asked, my company has only 5 people, so how I can select internal auditors. So maybe you can nominate anyone from them, that Mr. X would be the internal auditor. Or in that scenario, if you are missing, you are not having that competency, then anytime you are free to take help of external bodies and external consultants. They can come and they can perform your internal audits also. Okay. Let's go ahead. I hope with this we are done with the 9.2, how to perform internal audit and all that. Let me see if there are some exercise for you. Okay, no, before exercise we have to learn some another things. Okay, under 9.2 only, that is internal audit. So there is one important part, one important thing, that is audit criteria. So when you are going to do audit, always there is one thing before you start your audit, that is under what would be your audit criteria, how you are going to do the audit. So audit criteria means, audit is a kind of, if someone asks you what is audit is an approach where you measure something, where you judge something, whether you are doing the work right or wrong. So it's a kind of measurement. So how to perform that audit again? So audit is done against some audit criterias. So I have mentioned 4 criterias. One is audit can be done against the ISMS standard, that is ISO 27001, the new version, and the organization that are still on the old version, because this standard has been recently released. So most of the organization are into the old version, that is 2013, and they will get some they will get the transition time also, that within this given time frame they have to upgrade themselves to the newer version. So this is the right time, that if you are coming into this market for ISO 27001, may start from the new version, because there are a lot of opportunity that would be coming after 6 months or 1 year. Lot of transition would happen, and you will get lot of business and all those things, lot of new opportunity. So if you are doing audit would be done against ISMS standard, that is this standard. It could be done against the requirement of your interested parties, or it could be done against the ISMS documents which you have made, or which any XYZ company has made. If you are going to perform their audit, then going with their documents also you can perform the audit, or audit is performed using some legal requirements. So if there are some legal requirements, against that also audit can be performed. So these are the four major criterias. There could be some minor one also that can be added, but these are the four major one against which you perform audit. And generally when we have audit in regard to ISMS, so most of the time audit is performed against ISO 27001. That is the standard, the requirement of the standard. ISO 27000 has a family of standards. So there are 27,000, 27,001, 27,002, 3, 4 like that. But only 27,001 is the auditable standard, because that gives us the requirement, that what are the requirements, and that is the only reason that audit can be done against 27,001. You cannot do audit for, or you can do audit, but you will not get certified for 27,002 or 3 or 4. Only against 27,001 the organization can get certified. Then the rest of the number 2, 3, and 4, they are again derived from number 1 only. Even the interested party, if you are going to perform an audit for interested parties, then again your baseline standard would be 27,001 only. Or if you are going to perform an audit based on ISMS document, again these ISMS document would be made as per the requirement of 27,001 only. So due to that reason, the major criteria is ISO 27001, against which you are going to do the audit. Okay, let me go next. Okay, so there are various skills that are required from an internal audit team, and since most of the controls are technical in nature, they are technical in nature. So it is highly recommended that the auditor need to be technical in nature, highly recommended, because most of the controls here, if you see all the 4 controls, your people, then your organizational, physical, and technological, most of the controls are technical in nature. So your technical competency is highly recommended and required to perform the internal audits. If you are not from a technical background, later or sooner you have to be technical and you have to learn all these technical jargons, then only you would be in a position to perform this internal audits. So a deep understanding of risk, because ISO 27001 is a risk based, and the against what we are doing, information asset risk. So what is the risk to my information asset? So we are going to perform all these activity for as a risk based activity. So the risk is one of the important thing that you need to keep in mind whenever you are performing an internal audit. And the risks are categorized as known risk and unknown risk. So sometimes known risk are that you know that this could be one of the risk. It could be a major risk or a minor risk. Sometimes there could be risks which are not known to the management or not known to even sometimes the auditor also. And uh, we all have seen that movie Titanic. So that was a good ship, and the what happened in the last we all know. Okay, because they didn't gauge the risk properly, and what happened was that lot of disaster and all that. So if there are some unknown risk, your plan against that unknown risk should also be ready for that. That is addressed by your contingency plans and all that. And sometimes, because the risk is not known, so it might be possible that your contingency plan is not that advocate or not that suitable. But again, you this all comes with your experience, your past experience, and the incident that has happened in the past and all those. They will give you all these learnings and all that. This is not a one day activity that you will learn all those things. With the past experience and occurrences, you will be in a position to know the risk, that what is the certainty, what is the possibility that this risk will happen. So it all depends on the previous history and all that. So some of the technological risk like spyware, hackers, viruses, then your rootkits, bombs, and the other many related to technical hacks and all that. Now, again, coming to 9.2.2, that is internal audit program. So we now till yet we have seen the few things. Let me sum up again. We have seen that the standard says that you need to first make a identification that what need to be monitored, how it will be monitored, and all these things. So against that, you did this activity. So you have write down each and everything, that these are going to be the objective that I am going to monitor, under what frequency and who is going to do, and that everything you have done. Assuming you have done everything, the next is that you have defined the frequency also. Then you would be saving them as an evidence to all those things. Then you have made a list of internal auditors also. You have defined the roles and responsibilities also. You have given an internal audit training also to your auditors. And in a maybe every 6 months or 1 year or every quarter, you are giving these such trainings. And these internal auditors would be giving security awareness trainings also to the rest of the teams and all that. So this is the day-to-day functioning. Now, audit criteria also we have gone through. Then the risk also, we learned that what are the known risk and what are the unknown risk and all that. Now let's see, we are ready, and now we are ready to take off for the internal audit. So to take off for the internal audit, what we have to do? We have to plan the internal audit. We have the first thing that we have to do is make a plan for internal audit, that on which date this internal audit would be done, who would be doing the internal audit, what are the programs, what are the functions that would be completed. So what is going to be the method, what is going to be the roles and responsibility, and what are the planning requirement, and then the reporting part. So this all need to be planned in advance, and accordingly you have to choose the audit criteria, the scope of audit, and all that. Then once everything is being made or done, then the audit team will send the communication in advance. They need to give some time also. It is not that you communicate that tomorrow is your internal audit. You have to tell them in advance that after a week time or 2 week or month time, this is going to be an internal audit. This is going to be the scope, and this is going to be the audit criteria and all that. Everything you need to communicate in advance to the rest of the team, and then you would be doing in performing the internal audit. So when you are doing such activity, there you have to do audit criteria, scope. You have to select auditors also who would be conducting. Okay, and you need to keep in mind that these auditors should give unbiased report. and they should not do it like this, whether okay, you are my friend, okay, I'm not writing that that you are missing these things. So these things should not be biased one. A honest approach should be given. And sometimes management also think that the internal audit team is not giving the honest that output. So due to that reason, they sometimes they invite external bodies also, that you may please come and audit us, so that we can get a correct picture that whether the processes are working smoothly or there is a gap into that. Okay. Then you need to make sure that the results of audits are reported to the management, means top management. And finally, what you need to do, you have to document all these uh, when you are performing these audits as a evidence that you have done these audit, and the audit was done. And if you have some finding, then you have to make a report also. And let's see how to make a report, that is the next part. But before that, you have to do the documentation, all these, which includes your plan, then your audit communication and all that. Okay. So for your help, I'm showing you internal audit plan, schedule for ISMS internal audit, your scope and the company name, audit criteria. Audit criteria also you need to mention that the audit would be against what. Then the auditor, the details of the audit team who is going to be the auditor, then the dates of audit, then the function name. I am showing you a one very sample one. You can make your own also, the function, then the time, auditor, what is going to be his role, who is going to be the participants or the auditee, what are the remarks or any remarks, etc., that you want to give. This is a kind of audit plan. Okay. So now with this sample template that I am displaying, it is clear to you that this is going to be the internal audit plan, under where you have selected the audit criteria also, you have selected the functions, you have given the time, auditors, and everything. Okay, so all this you need to preserve as a evidence that this was my audit plan, and this was shared with the team. And then on the day of audit, then how to perform audit and all that, these are the next thing. So on the day of audit, when let's say audit was supposed to be 20th of January, so on 20th of January, when you start doing the audit, you will be doing certain things, like there would be opening meeting where you would be explaining the purpose of audit, that this is going to be the purpose, and the scope is already shared with you with the auditee. So they will be well prepared that the auditor is going to perform, and this is going to be the scope of audit, and accordingly you have to perform the audit as per the audit criteria mentioned. Okay, and then finally you will be noting down your audit observation and all that. We have an exercise on this. We will be discussing that exercise also in our next slides. Okay, so till yet we are done with the complete. We have learned what is the internal audit, what is the need of internal audit, what we are going to do with the internal audit, how to plan, and how to execute the internal audit. This all we have learned so far in clause number 9. So I have some certain exercise that is to be done by your end. So exercise 18 is says you have to define internal audit schedule. So internal audit schedule, for your help, already I have made a plan like this. So you have to make your own plan now. Then exercise 19 would be internal audit training. Okay, so you have to make a document where under which you would be giving internal audit training. Now the what you would be covering under internal audit training. Okay, so maybe sometime someone asks you that you want to provide an internal audit training. So what need to be the content of that internal audit training? Okay, So here you need to be very wise. If you are going to perform audit for a HR function, if you are going to perform audit for HR function, be very relevant that that for a particular function, let's say HR. So you have to tell what are the requirements from ISO 27001 from a HR perspective. Okay, just give the training related to HR part only to that function. Else, if you give the whole training of this ISO standard to HR, the HR will totally get confused. Don't tell him that what are the technical controls that are required to be audited. Yes, if you are going to give this internal audit training to the development team, to them you can tell that these are the technical controls that would be required for audit purpose into ISO 27001. But with the technical team, don't discuss the HR functions. Okay, so the function that is specifically talk only those controls that are required for that function. So this way you have to prepare your internal audit training sessions. You can, yes, there would be some area that would be common. That is clause number 4. Clause number 4, that is context of the organization. This would be common for everyone. Everyone need to know the context of the organization, then the scoping statement and all that. Information security policy, everyone need to know that you have to make an information security policy. So clause number 5 is also mandatory for everyone. Risk assessment, everyone need to know that how to perform risk assessment. But again, risk assessment for HR need to tell only the risk related to HR processes. Then for admin, what are the risks related to admin? So that way you can tell them what are the relevant risk and all that. So they need to focus on their areas only. That is. Then your performance evolution and all that part. So you need to very selective when you are giving internal audit trainings to the group functions. Then this was exercise number 19. Sorry, I have written wrong. This is exercise number 20. This is exercise number 20. You need to make internal audit process. So internal audit process will cover right from this 9.1, starting from 9.1, this part, then the internal audit requirements, then the audit criteria, and the risk audit programs, how to plan internal audit and all that. So this all will be covered under internal audit process, and this is going to be a little lengthy process, maybe 8 to 10 page process, and you have to write down. Just try to write. Maybe for beginner, you have never written any process. I can understand for you it is going to be a difficult task, but believe me, just try to write. Just simply copy and paste the standard itself, and just read the standard once and twice. Automatically you will start getting answers to your questions, that how to write an internal audit process. Because if you go one by one, just on the top just write internal audit process, then just write 9.1. Okay, so here I have taken these wording from the standard itself. So it says the organization shall determine who need to be monitored. Okay, so when you are writing process, so let's say your organization name is ABC. So ABC, you can write like this. The ABC has determined that these are the function area that need to be monitored, and this is going to be the frequency, and Mr. X or these would be responsible for monitoring and this is going to be the process. So just tell how you're doing in your environment. Just write in that way, because this standard is giving you what need to be done. Now, how you're doing the activity in your environment, just read this and write accordingly. Just start typing, and trust me, you would be writing. So by this time, I expect everyone that they would be doing these exercise number 20, internal audit process. So we assume we are good to go with the internal audit. We are now well versed with the internal audit process. We are able to perform internal audit and all that. So on the given date, internal audit was performed. Now, the outcome of that internal audit need to be presented before the management. That this is the finding of the internal audit, and these are the deviation. And these also, don't forget to mention the positive finding. You're not there as a fault finder. Please remember this. Whenever you are performing internal any audit you are performing, whether internal or external, don't behave like a police, that you are there as a police. You are there to help them to improve their performance. Okay, so you are not a fault finder. So make an approach in such a way that you give this confidence to your auditee that you are there to help them to enhance their processes. You are not there as a fault finder. If you give this feeling to your auditee, then they will reserve themselves into the hard shell. They will never come up, and they will never share the actual pain areas. In fact, the another purpose of doing such internal audits is to identify the real pain areas of the organization, that what actual problem you are facing on day-to-day basis, because you would be doing internal audit with the end users. So the actual pain areas that can be identified with the help of these internal audits. And this is the right way when you are addressing your problems with the internal audit team. And because internal audit team directly reports to the top management, so there is a high possibility that if you highlight those pain areas or problem areas, then the internal auditor will showcase those pain areas or the problem areas and highlight those before the senior management, so that they can take appropriate action. So just give them this confidence that you are performing this audit for the sake of improvement only, not for the sake of fault finding. So once internal audit is performed and you are good to go, then finally you need to prepare a report. And if there are some deviations, then you have to again you have to make a report, and you have to share that report with the team also, that this is the finding that I have noted. And you would be sharing that report with the management also, because the management want to know. And this is the only reason why management has allotted you this task. They want to actually judge how the organization or how the functions are performing, how the controls are performing. Are they performing well, or they are still missing, or there are some they have implemented controls and they are nowhere used, or the controls are not successful, and all that. So with the help of this activity, the management will also get to know the real story of the activity. So you need to present the real story, not the artificial one or the fabricated one, without any addition subtraction. As it is, you have to present before the management and let the management to take decision what to do. And remember this: ISMS is not a one-day activity; it is a continual process. Every time you have to keep doing improvements, and improvements. So first year, let's say you are new to ISMS and you are able to do 40% activity. So that is good. rather than saying that I am doing 100%, because next year there is nothing 100%. There is always a scope of improvement. So if you are doing 40%, next time you target for 60%. Next year you target for 80%. So this way you keep progressing and you keep fine tuning your systems. And then the documents which you have prepared, these documents are would be then time tested documents. So today you have created some policy procedures, then with the time you would be testing those documents with day-to-day usage, and the end users will give the correct feedback about these documents, how relevant the document are, how relevant the policies are, what are the problems that the end users are facing to go to adopt those policy processes and all that. And where required, feel free to give your suggestion that this process or the policy requires some changes, minor changes, major changes, or all that. So finally, what you have to do, you have to prepare a management review process. So how this management review process means that how the review will be done, how the how part. Okay, so you would be reviewing all those things, that this is going to be the review process, what is going to be the frequency, who will do the review, who will be submitting the review, who will be addressing the review, what are the actions to be taken, what is going to be the agenda and all that. Generally, this is the job of a CISO. Generally, this is the job of a CISO in the organization, to share the results of the internal audit or before the management, and to share the management the progress of the ISMS, and then the agenda for the next activity. And also the in during these management review meetings, the previous agenda is also shared, that this was our the previous meeting agenda, and these were the outcome, and these were the actionable items decided in the previous meetings, and what is the status of those previous actionable items, are they being completed or they are still pending. So the complete position or the current status of that activity is to be shared before the management, because management cannot remember all those things. They have n number of things to do. So this is the job of a CISO, to present all these things before the management and to make appropriate actions. Then finally, management review inputs, that under management review inputs, basically management would like to consider what are the actions taken from the previous management reviews. So these are the uh, what are the status of action from previous management reviews, changes in external or internal issue, if there are any changes in need and expectation of interested party, if any feedback from the information security performance, including trends in the non-conformity, corrective actions, monitoring and measurement results, audit result, fulfillment of information security objectives. These things need to be discussed into the management review meetings. And if any feedback from interested party, result of risk assessment, or if there are new risks identified, and if there are some new controls that are required, because if new controls are required, definitely resources would be required, and there would be some budgetary approvals. So that also the CISO need to put before the management, that these are the new controls. Let's say some new controls, let's say some new software need to be purchased. So these software require some budgetary approval. So they need to be shared with the management, and then management will approve whether to go ahead with the software or what to do. And finally, the opportunity for continual improvement. So that also need to be prepared before the management for review and all that. So this is going to be the complete management review process. So in the management review process, you need to write the document that what how you are going to do the management review, and what are the activity that before management review and after management review, because what activity need to be done before the management review happens, and what activity need to be done. Once the management review has happened, then definitely management has given some comments also and all that. So the before part means you need to do all these things, that you would be addressing the non-conformities, you will be addressing the risk results and all those things. This is the before. And once, let's say, you have done the management review, then finally what you do. So finally, once the management review has happened, so the first thing that need to be made is a MOM. The first thing that need to be made is a MOM, that is minutes of the meeting. So the minutes need to be captured, and what all we discussed during the management review, that need to be mentioned there, and what was the approved or disapproved decisions taken by the management, they also need to be mentioned into the MOM, that these are the actions, these are the actionable point, where management agrees, where management disagree, what are the expectation, what are the to do's, and all those things that need to be captured into your MOMs. So the result is the capture MOM, management review result. So the result of the management review shall include decision related to continual improvement opportunity and any need in the information security management system. So you need to make it documented evidence against such reviews. Now we have another one more exercise, that is corrective action process, management review process. Corrective action means if, let's say, some non-conformities were observed. So if there is a non-conformity, then there would be a corrective action plan that we call CAPA, 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 CAPA. Then this was all about my clause number 9. Then comes to clause number 10. So the only change that has happened in clause number 10 from the previous version is, earlier 10.2, the non-conformity and corrective action was 10.1, and now it is made 10.2. So the order is reversed, nothing more than that. Otherwise, the standard remains as it is. So there was a continual improvement and non-conformity and corrective action. Not now, what need to be done under this 10.1? The organization shall continually improve the suitability, advocacy, and effectiveness of ISMS, because we know that ISMS is not a one-day activity. ISMS is a continuous process. Every time we have to keep improving our systems and all that. So that is the requirement given by the standard itself, that we every time we have to continually improve our things. Maybe on the first day we are not doing 100%, but slowly and slowly we need to continue, and we need to improve our system. Then that is a standard request, that is a standard requirement that has come, that under 10.2, that you have to continually improve. Then what about the non-conformity and the corrective action plans? So how you would be dealing with the non-conformity? Let's say you have done the internal audit, you have after internal audit the report has come, and the auditor has given you some non-conformity, that is NCs. So how to deal with such non-conformities, and what is going to be the corrective action? This is one of the next part of the clause number 10, that is 10.2. So whenever there is a non-conformity, so definitely non-conformity will be given by the audit team. It may be internal audit team or an external audit team. So whenever there is a non-conformity, so what need to be done? So the organization, what need to be done by the organization? They have to react to the non-conformity and as applicable. So first of all, they need to give their reaction, whether they are accepting that non-conformity or not. This is the first reaction they are expected to give, and then take action to control and correct it. Once they have accepted that non-conformity, then the second thing they have to do, they have to take action to control and correct it. Then how to correct that non-conformity? Deal with the consequences. if you do not do that, then what would be the consequences of that? That also you have to figure out. So this is the part A. Under part B, it says evaluate the need for action to eliminate the cause of non-conformity, in order that it does not reoccur or occur anywhere. That is that that it may not reoccur. So what is your corrective action for that? So that also you need to tell. And reviewing the non-conformity, determine the cause of non-conformity. So here what you need to do is you have to identify the cause of non-conformity, that what was the real cause of non-conformity. So once you determine the cause of conformity, against that you have to give a answer also, that what is your answer against this. Once you have determined the cause of non-conformity, what is going to be your action against this non-conformity, and also determine if similar non-conformity exists or could potentially occur. So these are the actionable items. So you have to determine the cause. Also, we call this as RCA, root cause analysis. We call it RCA, root cause analysis. Implement any action needed, review the effectiveness of the corrective action taken, make changes to the information security management system based on the RCA. Once you have done the RCA, you have identified the root cause. So once you have identified the root cause, then you have to give an actionable item, that against this problem which you have identified, what is going to be the corrective action against that. Okay, so there are two things. One is the RCA, and another thing that comes up is problem management. So problem management means if that what you say, one non-conformity or one incident happens once, that is, it happened one time. But if the same problem is occurring again and again, it means the problem is reoccurring of nature, and you have to give a permanent solution to that. That will be dealt under problem management part. There you have to identify the real solution of that problem, so that can be properly eliminated, so that it may not happen again, and it would not be into the recurring mode. So against that also you need to do your RCA and all that. So there are some formulas, or there are some approaches that how you are going to do the RCA also. Against that also you can easily find some write-ups on Google. If you Google up what are the best method to do RCA and all that, but try to keep it as simple as that. Only thing is you have to identify root cause, why this happened, why this happened, how this happened, when happened. So just ask all W series question to yourself, that why this happened, how happened, when happened, and what are the best approaches that you can take, so that this problem may not occur again. That will be your corrective action. So what is the correction you have taken against that? So that is how we write RCA. Then whenever we are making an RCA, this would be a 1 page, 2 page, any size of document that will be explaining. First of all, it will be explaining the problem, that this was the problem statement. What was the root cause of that problem? That also you have to tell, and what is the possible solution that you have suggested. And let this RCA to be approved by the top management. Okay, because at many a time, if you are giving a solution, that may require some budgetary requirement also. Let's say for the risk assessment example I have given, so there, due to overheating, the server was getting down, and the RCA that you have done, that is the RCA, the root cause was that the cooling system was old, and due to that uh, in- the server was getting heated, because the cooling system was getting filled uh, frequently. So you have identified the root cause, Now the solution also you have given that this is the solution, probably buy a new cooling system, and if you buy a new cooling system, then the problem will get resolved. So but because you have given a new requirement, so that requirements require some budgetary approval also. So this RC need to be submitted before the management, and let the management to take action against that. So this is the way how you would be dealing with non-conformity and the corrective actions. Okay, so this is one sample template, how to record the non-conformities. So how to write, so first of all, you need to write the reporting date, finding, what is the finding, what is the finding category, whose responsibility is there, location, what is the correction that have been done, what is the root cause analysis. Maybe root cause analysis is a big one, so you can write down number RCA001. So RCA001 would be one document to which you are referring here. So because that RCA1 will be big one, so you cannot write that the whole story here. So just write the RCA number here, which you can refer to that document. And what is the corrective action item, what is the target date by which you would be completed, and what is the learning that you have taken from that whole incident. So this is going to be a small template that can be used for non-conformity and corrective actions. Okay, so by this time I have shared all clauses running from clause 1 to 10. Let me give you now a very quick summary. Uh, so far, the learning we have made. Okay, so in the part, the first part, second part, third part, and today the fourth part, we have gone through the whole ISO 27001 standard. Okay, that is right, starting from clause number 1, and we have done up to clause number 10, that is performance evolution and improvement. Then references, control objective and controls. These are the part that I would be explaining you now. What are the references, control objective and controls? These are basically uh, these are the controls. This is the exercise. If you remember, when I started on the very first day, I had given you exercise number A. These are the references and the controls. So total 4 controls are there: organizational, people, physical and technological. So my very simple method to remember them, like, we know that we work into PPT mode, that is people, process, technology, and our information security work around all these things. We work around people, we work around processes, we work with technology. So information security is covered under people, process and technology, because humans are must, humans are the only driving factor that drive the whole activities. So you cannot eliminate the people part. So under people part, let's see the first people part only, because that is the most important and the driving factor of the whole activity, because machine cannot work of their own. Maybe after 10 years, 20 years, I don't know, but AI will take over to humans and all that. This is the all fictions, and lot many movies have come up when AI has taken on computers and all that. But the present situation is that humans are the one who are driving the machines. So under people control, that is control number 6. We earlier in 2013 version, earlier in 2013 version, let me take this my 2013 version. It was closed. It used to be domain number 7, and the name of domain was humans. The name of this domain was human resource security. So it was having total 7.1, 7.2, and 7.3. Earlier there were 3 subdomains or subclauses: 7.1, 7.2, and 3. So the control remain as it is, but some of the controls are being merged, and then a single control is made, that now into this new this new version, a new control has been made by the name people itself. Under that, the control 6.1 says screening. Screening means background verification. So whenever there would be a hiring, so the okay, one more question. One of a participant has also asked that if you are going to perform an internal audit for a HR, do you need to know the HR practices and all that? Not mandatory, not required, because we are here only concerned about information security practices. We are not talking about their HR journal practices. Need not to know their journal practices and all that. Our only concern is that how HR department is taking care of their data and how the information security practices are being adopted into that department. And there are some specific requirement also from the HR, like screening 6.1. Screening means that you have to do background verification before someone joins the organization. So normally you already know, we all know that we have to undergo the background verification process, and whenever we join somewhere, we get that background verification activities and all that. That is the screening. So this activity is to be initiated by HR, and they have given a certain timeline that within 30 days, 45 days or 90 days, the screening need to be completed. And this need to be done either internally, or it can be taken help of an external body also. They can do the screening part. Then terms and condition of employment, this is also mentioned. And under terms and condition of employment during the joining, you need to sign up one NDA, non-disclosure agreement also, that the confidentiality you need to preserve. This terms and condition of employment is also applicable when you are onboarding some vendors. When you are so vendors are not your employees, but they are also, or take a case of third party employees and all that. So whenever some onboarding would be there, it may be a vendor, it may be an employee, it may be a third party, part time, full time, anytime. So there would be a terms and condition of that activity, and there would be a non-disclosure agreement and agreement that need to be signed, and HR would be responsible for getting all these signed and all that. Then the next is 6.3, that is information security awareness, education and training. We have seen in clause number 7 also, that the competency, in order clause number 7 talks about the competency and all that. There we have seen that the security awareness training need to be given. So it is basically the job of a HR to regularly provide the information security awareness education training to the existing employees and to the new joining. Then 6.4 says disciplinary process. So disciplinary process was also, this control was earlier there in the previous version also, and it says that if someone is found violating to the information security policies, and what action need to be taken and how the process will go on and all that. Then next part is 6.5, that is responsibility after termination. So in case if there is a resignation, change of job title, or shifting from one location to another, or all that, in that case also, what process or what procedure need to be followed, that would be considered under 6.5. And then 6.6 is very much similar to 6.2, but here we have to sign up one confidentiality or NDA agreement and all that. Then 6.7 talks about remote working or the teleworking. If your employees are working from home, because nowadays it is a very the culture has come up due to this pandemic situation. So employees are being allowed to work from their own areas and all that. But the challenge with that has come up is the security of data, because earlier when people are coming to the work sites, so they are able to manage the security because the things were controlled there. But now you are allowing your employees to work from their own premises, so security of data is one of the major concern. Then how you are going to address that security part, that is need to be covered under remote working and all that, that is teleworking. Then if there is an incident, then how to report that is covered under 6.8. Earlier for that it was a different domain that comes under incident management. But since incident management would be done by, or incident reporting will be done by peoples only, due to that reason they have put this control under the people controls. So I very much like this way how ISO has now make the things very much simpler. Rather than earlier, the whole controls were divided into 14 domains. So it was a kind of like technical mesh. So some of the controls were in one domain, some of the controls were in another domain, and all that. Now they have made this good job. They have segregated and they have formulated the controls in such a way that making the things very simpler and all that. The controls, like the control related to people, are kept on one side. So HR is only responsible for control number 6, nothing more than that. The admin team that take care of the physical controls and all that, or the physical security team, they are only concerned about the physical controls. The rest of the things they need not to know and all that. So then comes the controls at organization levels. So there we have policies for information security. So earlier there was like a control policy for information security and review of information security policy. There were two controls that they have been merged, and only one control has been made, that is 5.1. Then information security roles and responsibility. This we have already identified in clause number 5 also, that you have to identify roles and responsibility. Then segregation of duties, that the duties need not be intermixed. So one person should not be made responsible for everything. So there should be some segregation of duties so that the things are kept secure and all that. But for small organization, let's say organization is having 4 people or 5 people, for at that place this clause is challenging, because they say that one man is taking care of IT also, he is taking care of the admin also, he is taking care of the procurement also and all that. So in that scenario, it would be a challenge to manage this control. So like this way, these controls are here, and the green one which are reflecting on the screen, they are in organization control also, they are in physical control also, and technological controls also. These are the new controls that are being added new. They were not there in the previous version of ISO 27001 2013 version. So the first control that I would like to address, that is threat intelligence. So threat intelligence is one part nowadays. Earlier, people used to do, like organization, they say from security point of view, they say we used to do VAPT. So VAPT is one thing that they used to do, but now people have moved beyond VAPT. There are threat hunting, red teaming, blue teaming, cyber drills. So there are lot many other activities that are going on, and organization are not now relying on antivirus or firewall only. They are relying on the some other sophisticated tools also, like SOC, security operation centers, and threat intelligence, SIM, and all those things. So in the previous version, there was no control that was mentioned which was addressing the requirement of threat intelligence. And since that version was written in the year 2013, so at the time the requirement was not there, because at that time firewall was sufficient to address all those issues. But it was a need of the hour, and due to that reason this new control is being added as threat intelligence. Then information security for cloud services, same way, this control was also missing, and this control is being added. ICT readiness for business continuity, although there were controls for BCP, business continuity plan, and all that, but this one is further redefined and added into this version. Configuration management in regard to firewall, routers, switches, servers, this was also missing, then added new. Information deletion means retention policy, how you are going to what would be your retention for the data, that was missing in the previous version, that is added new. Data masking, data DLP was also missing. Monitoring, web filtering, secure coding. So these are the controls, they were missing in the previous one and added new. This is the video. You will find on my channel only ISO 27001 what has changed. So I request everyone, if you want to see what are the changes that has been made into this new version, so I have given all the details here. So this is the standard which I am referring. So now comes the real thing. We have done the learnings and we are ready to implement ISO into an organization, and we are going to do the implementation activity. So for your help, I have made a document that is checklist. Most of the time I keep getting this request, sir, can you please share the checklist? Can you please share the checklist for this? So for your help, I have made this checklist. So you have to go with this, like right from clause number 4. So I have mentioned the activity that need to be done. I have mentioned the activity that need to be done clause wise. So let's start from clause number 4, because now we all have gone through the all the clauses right from clause 1 to clause 10 we have seen. Now we have to implement this ISO 27001. So first thing is organization context. So you have to write whether, so because we have limited size here, so just write down the document number. Maybe I have written ISMS 01. Okay, so you have made ISMS 01 document for this. Okay, so what is the status? So you can say done or in progress, like this. You can write any of the status as you feel comfortable. Okay, and what is the document? You can write down the document number here, that this is the document I have made against organization context. One more thing, sometime you say that I have made a single document which would be covering a complete context of the organization. So this document, the interested parties are also covered into ISMS 01. No problem, that is okay. So let's say I make one document only, which covers complete this. Instead of making 3 4 documents, separate document, I make one document only. So I am covering this all this under ISMS 01. That is okay. Okay, so just write down like this way. Then you have to write what about clause number 5. So you can make a document clause number 5, ISMS uh, uh, ISMS 02. This is the second document you have made, where you would be writing about leadership, role and responsibility, information security policy, and all that. You can make a second document like this. Okay, so this way, I'm leaving on you, because uh, trust me, you will not find the same, and don't follow the same approach. Try to give your own shape. Redefine this. I have done implementation, like many sizes, and many numbers. I can't tell you the count and all that, and that is of a higher side. But I tell you, whenever I do implementation, I redefined every time that implementation into a different flavor. It is the same thing like you are going to kitchen and you are going to cook something. So if you use the same formula, your taste, you will not get the taste. So try to give a different taste every time, adding different flavors and all those things. That will showcase your expertness to that subject, and your client will get convinced. Your employee will get convinced. Yes, he know the subject very well. So with the confidence, go ahead, do the work, and wherever you are feeling any difficulty, feel free to ask me. I am there to help you. Don't worry. So my group is being joined by many me-like persons who are there, who are helping each other, and so it's a kind of like give and take. So we are all are learning, and we are helping each other. So same way, you need to write down each and everything up to clause number 10. When moving down, so up to clause number 10, you have to do everything. Then comes Annex A control. Okay, so and now here I have written for you. So this part I have left. What you need to do here, I have written for you. let's say coming to the organization controls. So what you need to do, okay, I need to make it small so that it is visible to all of you. So this is a checklist basically. This is a checklist. So the first thing, policy for information security. So you have to check whether the security policy exists. Yes, no. If not, then you have to like, either you have to make it. You can use this checklist for various purposes. You can use this checklist when you are performing your audits, or you can use this checklist when you are implementing ISO 27001. So the same checklist can be used. So I have prepared this checklist in such a way that the same checklist can be used at all the times. So what all in this control you have to do? You have to prepare a cyber security policy or all the policies for information security. Then second, do the information security policy roles and responsibility defined. You have to check if you're auditing, or else you, if you are doing, you know that you have to define the roles and responsibility. Then segregation duties, all policy you have, like in management responsibility, all policy need to be approved by management and all that. Again, you can have a single document which would be covering 5.1, 5.2, 5.3, 4, 5. You can have a single document which would be covering 3, 4 controls. So that is also possible. That is your choice. So don't think that you have to create a single document for all the controls or multiple documents. It's up to you how you want to manage the scene. So like this way, every requirement or the task that have been given in the against the control, like return of asset, define return of asset policy. So here you have to do this. You have to define the asset return policy, information classification policy. You have to define information security policy. Then policy for labeling of information, define policy for physical media transfer. So like this way, I have given you the requirement or the task. Both the things I am saying, requirement or the task. Task means when you are implementing, requirement means when you are auditing. And assigned to whom, whether the same is in compliance, last date updated, and all that. This will also, you can use this checklist as a master list of document also, because here you would be marking each and everything. You can add one more column where you can mention that this is the document number, this is the control number, and all that. Okay, so like this way, I have written all the requirement and task for all the controls and all that. And this is the what you call the checklist for implementation or checklist for auditing. But for the seasoned professionals, I recommend not to go direct, not to go only with this your checklist. Try to make your own something, because this checklist, there is a high possibility that this checklist will be available with your auditee also, and he already know in advance what you are going to ask. And before you ask, okay, you need policy, this is our policy. So you need to be like a little mature into this subject, and you need to do your homework, that what all. So I suggest for that, go with ISO 27002. 27002. Take any of the control, 8.28. Take any of the control and straight away go to the control. Okay. And then like this, operational threat intelligence details about specific attack and all these. So threat, including technical indicators, IOC, just ask the detail from the client. Okay, show me give me the details about this. So you need to be very much specific when you are asking from your auditee. So, and when, if you are auditee, also please read this, because your auditee will definitely go take help of this standard. So it is the same, that is, the law book is written, it's the same law book that is being read by you, and that is being read by your auditor. Both are using the same standard. So the more and more you go in depth of this, your auditor will be facing tough to you. He will be really thinking that I am now having a technical auditor in front of me who is well versed with the standard. So for him, really it would be a difficult task to give any further NCs and all that. So coming to this is the activity checklist for complete implementation. Like if you are doing a checklist, so again the if you want to create your own checklist, I am giving you the formula. Just write down the assessment criteria on one side and the objective evidence that what all you need to cover. So because on left hand side you will see that what all I need to ask and what activity they are actually doing. So keep writing in front of them. So that would be a kind of your assessment audit checklist. So you can create your own also. Then comes the next template, that is internal audit template. So if you are going to perform an internal audit, this is the template that you can use. That is internal audit template, assessment plan, date, organization scope, objective, criteria, team leader, team member, all this template. So what is the client function, auditor, hours, in how much hour, because you need to give all the information that I am going to perform audit, who is going to my auditor, what is going to be the subject, what are the controls that you would be looking. So this is a sample. Like then from then when you are performing internal audit, like context, because you know your checklist. So under context, what all you need to ask, just write down here. Then in leadership, what all you will be asking in from leadership point of view. From planning, what all. So when you are auditing, read the standard and draft that standard into question format, how you are doing this. Let's say it says that you have to define the context of the organization, then you can ask, what is your context of the organization, can you show me the document related to context of organization. Do you have an information security policy, is it being approved by management, how it is being approved, how it is being communicated. So you can add W series question in front of that requirement, and that will become your questionnaire for that activity. So this is the internal audit. Then another exercise. I am running in short of time. Please excuse. Uh, I need some more time so that I can complete this activity. So I have given you a non-conformity. How this is a small incident that has given incident-based exercise. I am giving you. You have to read the incident, and then you have to tell me what is the non-conformity, and it is referring to which of the clause against which you are giving a non-conformity. So this is an incident. So this is an incident based activity. You have to read the whole incident, then refer to your controls, that which controls gives you the solution of this and all that, and what is the missing point and all that. So there are some how many incident, 4 5 incident I have mentioned. Incident number 2, incident number 3, incident number 4 and 5. Total 5 incidents has been given to you, which is your homework. Then next exercise is NC template. If you are going to do the audit and you have to give a non-conformity, then what is the way to give a non-conformity? Okay, so there is a template for that also, how you are going to do. So this is a non-conformity template. So what is the requirement, why you are giving the non-conformity requirement also you have to tell, and the requirement should be mapping to the standard, that from where this requirement is coming, you have to give that also. What is the problem, you need to tell the problem statement here. What is the problem statement, then mapping with ISO 27001 standard, what is required, evidence. Evidence, what do you mean by evidence? Evidence means, let's say you are giving evidence. that while talking to the admin team, so you need to quote that one also, that while talking to admin team on that requirement, it was told to the auditor that this was done in this way. So like this way you have to tell the complete statement, and what is missing, that also you have to tell, and what exactly is required, that also you have to tell, because based on NC only they are going to do the corrective action plan. Okay, so you need to give a NC. This is a format. Why the failure? Why? What makes them failure? That also you need to tell. What is the impact of that? It is an impact in regard to confidentiality, integrity, or availability. That also you have to tell them. What is the risk related to that? That also you need to tell. So this was a template how to write a non-conformity. Then, assuming we had done, and this is the final activity, so we are done with everything, and you have conducted audit, you have done everything. So finally you have to present an audit report also to your organization. So this is the format of an audit report that I am giving you, just for a template for your help. Audit report assessment as per 27 mock assessment. This is just a sample one. Don't take it as a final one, because you need to add many other things. So what are the major non-conformity and all that, the count and all that, that also area assessed, which area you have assessed, audit conclusion and appropriate, what is the conclusion you are having, then under context what was missing, because you have to give the assessment close wise, that you have assessed the following activity. So what was, like, if you found good part, right first. Okay, so good part means positive finding, right first, that these are the good part. Okay, that you are doing, so that it gives an encouragement to the organization. Okay, at least something good we are doing. And what is missing, right here now. So missing part. So you have to do this for all the clauses. Against all the clauses, you have to write all this. Okay. And what are the non-conformity and all that. So this was the complete, with this makes your complete audit report and all that. So this exercise is meant for the new learners who want to learn the complete implementation or the auditing process. Side by side, I was trying to make you learn the auditing process also, not only the implementation one, because there are many learners who are good into this and they are already working into this domain. So for their sake, I tried to give you the audit part also along with that. So this was all the exercise. In the last, I have given you the summary of exercise. This one. This is the summary of exercise that you have to do. Okay. So this is the exercise book which I would be sharing with you, and now concluding this whole course with with my best thoughts and all that. I tried my best to give you the knowledge, little knowledge which I have. Hope it was well delivered and all that. Still, there is always a scope of improvement. I know this. Okay, so let me ask few questions. Let me address few questions if I'm having from the team. One of the participant has asked, the new control in 8, control 8 technological control are mandatory. Can 8.11 and 8.12 and 8.23 be taken as no in SOA? For this, I would not be in a position to answer you, because without reading or without taking the knowledge about the organization, right now it won't be possible for me to comment whether which of the control is applicable in SOA or not applicable. So need to take the complete understanding of the organization first, then only I can let you know. Next question, why control referred start with number 5 if there is one finding against 5.1 leadership. Okay, so you want to say that why he started with 5. Okay, let me show you the this index. So 27,002, why it started with 5, you will get the answer. So up to 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. One is scope, second is nominative reference, third is term definition and abbreviated terms, 4 is structure of this document. And number 5 only the control is started. So number 5 is organization control, number 6 is people, number 7 is physical, and number 8 is technological. So this is the only reason why it started from 5.